Islamophobia in the United States. Islamophobia has translated to a fear of terrorism in the United States. Nowadays, the event of a terrorist attack seems imminent to the average American citizen. However, this has led to not only unjust bias towards Islamic people, but the beginning of mass surveillance widely accepted by the people. In addition, the word Muslim is commonly associated with terror and terrorism in the media, perpetuating the stereotype in America. It doesn't just hurt Islamic people, though. Everyone is about to lose security to possibly stop terrorism. However, if we realize the threat is not as large as it is made out to be, we could live more peacefully with Muslims and in addition save ourselves from invasion of privacy. To start, one viewpoint on this issue says that Americans are more fearful than ever of Muslims, but not for good reason. It has created a fear culture which has driven people to believe they are in more danger than before, when often the opposite is true. One main focus is terrorism, which translates to Islamophobia. One article states a statistic where you are more likely to get struck by lightning than being killed by a terrorist. Despite this, many Americans feel the need to secure themselves more from terrorists. The argument is that even with much lower dangers, people will give up liberties much more freely in the name of national security. Then in, say, traffic accidents, which killed 32,367 U.S. citizens in 2011, compared to 17 killed by terrorism in 2011. Additionally, another viewpoint is that people are justified in their right to be scared of Islamics, because many people who carry out terrorist attacks are of Islamic faith. One article mentioned that allowing thousands of refugees into our country is very dangerous and should be thought out more. In addition, a recent poll has showed that 7 out of 10 Americans consider ISIS a major threat to our country. This is not surprising. With recent attacks in both San Bernardino and London, right now the threat seems imminent as ever because ISIS is also able to broadcast their terrorism on the web for the world to see. With this evidence, you can understand more why people would be afraid of Muslims and the Islamic faith. It also reasoned that maybe an individual isn't scared of all Islamics, but is more scared of letting the wrong person in. In conclusion, I would say that no matter what, the threat of possible terrorism is so low that it is almost laughable how much people overreact to this problem. In addition, most Islamics and Muslims are not trying to kill us. In fact, many are trying to adapt to our way of life. There are people like me and you. For me also, I am not pleased that people are willing to give up pretty much every single part of electronic privacy to try and prevent terrorism. I feel that it's a slippery slope allowing the government to spy on our web activity, because then the government will say they need to be able to know more about us to know we are not terrorists. They will use logic that if you have nothing to hide, it should not bother you, when in reality it just puts more sensitive information available to anyone who wants to look hard enough. Despite this, I know some people are stubborn in their ways and cannot accept that, so I'll mention the chance of getting killed by bees or wasps is 1 in 64,706 people. Compare this to the 1 in 20 million chance of dying from an act of terrorism, and I cannot see the logic for being afraid of Islamics or Muslims or even known terrorists. Not one person is advocating that we have a war on bees, so it seems silly we have a war on terrorism. Food for thought. The chance of dying from illegal execution is 1 in 111,439 people. So in a way, we should be 179 times more scared of our government than terrorists. Of course, not actually, because we are rational and realize even those odds are so small.